Hello guys, in this module we need to discuss data modeling. Data modeling techniques can be used when designing database, and the technique can be applied to any relational database system, but because of this course we have a SQL Server, then we need to apply on it. Now the objective of this module, first to describe data modeling techniques, then we need to describe the three levels of NC Spark database model, and finally, we need to understand the components of any entity relationship model. We start with lesson 1, data modeling. With data modeling, we have three main objects: entity relationship modeling, we have normalization, and transaction path analysis. Now, the main goal is normalization. Of course, we need to understand the entity and the transaction, but once you improve enough skill, then you can simply jump to normalization. You can create the databases, create the relationship between those databases, and give notes to the developers if you are not the developer. Now, for us as a system admins, this is not part of our work to design a database, but to understand how it works, that is going to improve your skills to give a better service once you decide to maintain a running database server. And it's not going to take a lot of time, so why not? Let us learn something new. Now with the entity relationship modeling, take a look to this diagram. In this diagram, all what I try to do is to design a database for courses. I will assume we have an institute. In that institute, we want to run different courses. We have more than one place or venues, so our courses can be presented in all these different venues. Each course, there is a certain number of students can enroll to the course, and there is an instructor who, of course, is going to present the course. And if you take a look to such design, the idea is simple. You need first to mention the entities, then you mention the act, then you mention the relationship between these entities. And is it mandatory to attend, for example, the practice or the event? So here, what do I have with such design? I have student, I have the instructor, I have the course, and I have the place or the venue. And here, what's going to gather all these entities together is the course presentation. So I can have many students according to the system which we want to design. I can have many students. Those students can enroll to the same course. Now, when it comes to the course can be presented as you see here, this diagram. When you have more than one line, it means it is one-to-many relationship. So one course can be presented many times, of course, in different venues. One tutor is assigned to each course. Later, we have a lab. We need to use these models to solve it. We will see, and then we will use, of course, normalization to create first a single database and then try to split it to different databases. And we will see how it's going to work from there. But this is by the end of this module. And this ERD, for now, in the beginning, you might need to work with it for a while, but later you just need to jump immediately to normalization. You can imagine everything in your mind, and according to that, you can make a design. Even us, because we know now that we have a lab which is relating again to the course and the attendance. So I'm not going again to draw this diagram because we have an idea about it. I will just read what do we have in these lines, and from it I will understand how the database is supposed to be designed, and then we design it immediately. And it is not a difficult process, you will see that. Okay, the next step once you have the ERD is normalization. Normalization, we already talked about it before. I had told you in the previous module that usually we have up to 3 normal forms, but sometimes we might even to reach to number 4 or 5. Here, as you see, we have even 6 normal forms. We don't need to spend a lot to talk about it in theory, because again, this is what we will use to design our database. And in the next slide, we have the transaction path analysis. This is what we need to talk about it a bit now. The TPA, simply, you can link it to the processing. Let us take a look back to the diagram. Here in this diagram, we have a processing. What is the processing? Student need to attend course. So here we have enrollment to process, and also maybe I need to follow his attendance. How many days did he attend during the course? His mark maybe also need to be assigned from the tutor. These kinds of processing, this is what the TPA can analyze and process. The TPA will try to answer 3 main questions. Validate the data model. Does it support business processing needs? This is the first one. And the second one is validate the process design. Is the process sufficiently understood and mapped correctly? And finally, form the basis of security privacy design, which process need to do what to which data. So this is the main goal of the TPA. In other words, we can say the TPA main purpose is to provide a general idea for the developers to build the code which is going to be used to feed data and process it to these databases. According to the scope of this course, the real use of TPA is a bit far from what we try to do. Here, our main goal now is to understand how to design a database, how later we can create this database in our SQL server, and then how to maintain the SQL server. But at this stage, we are not trying to develop a code or write an application to manage a database. This is the main goal of the developers. In the next video, we need to discuss ANSI Spark database model. And with this one, we will start to see how we can convert a general idea to a database design. So let us follow together in the next video. Thanks for watching.